hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow, so toxic but I can't get enough. You're burying me, yeah, you're burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the luck. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Can you hold my hand again? Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones. I'm losing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Taking Over. I am, of course, Ed Fries, and I'm joined by the natural Astrid Pizarro. How you doing, Astrid?
I'm already tired, and this is just the beginning. What are you doing?
Your weekend's already almost over. Stop your complaint. Your weekend's almost over already.
We
You've
got 3
gotta
shows
get-
tomorrow.
I've got 6 more after this.
It's a long week. It's okay.
In the next 50 hours, I'm going to be hosting or co-hosting 6 more shows. But it's WrestleMania time. Good evening, my friend Bobby Munson. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We are sitting here. We are a simulcast tonight as we are talking NXT Stand and Deliver 2024. But of course, both Astrid and I have on our secondary monitors the fight without honor of Johnny TV versus Dalton Castle, which is about to start. We're, of course, watching Ring of Honor. And if you want to talk about Supercard of Honor, we've got the show for you this Sunday. At some point on Sunday, I am told, Kyle and Auntie Collins, Kyle's going to return to Honor Ramble. at least for a little while.
Oh, here we go.
But it's been a good show so far, with the exception of one of the matches, which I thought was a pretty terrible ending. It's been a good show. We had champions show up to the show.
How about the same champions that went out advertised and showed up?
Ring of Honor had champions show up on their show. Oh my!
It can happen. It's a thing.
Supposedly, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But this is a bit disappointing. They've got temporary boys out there for Dalton Castle's entrance. I don't like that. Anyways, no more Ring of Honor talk. NXT Stand and Deliver. Stand and Deliver is a pretty well-booked show. And if you're in the Philly area, please note, if you're looking for tickets, these are your options. There's a small little section right here by the ringside area that are probably pretty pricey, but pretty good seats. Otherwise, not too many tickets. You know what? That's pretty good for NXT. That's a big arena. They were in there tonight. For those that don't know, where SmackDown was held tonight, that's the location for tomorrow's Stand and Deliver. That's a big building.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much a sellout. Like, let's be honest, that's pretty much a sellout.
Pretty.
What do you think? There's a good what? 200 seats left,
more or less, yeah. So
but
pretty good for them.
Pretty good for anybody to sell that many tickets. But we now make ourselves a little bit smaller, as we're going to go ahead and talk about the kickoff show. Yes, we have to watch the kickoff show, Astrid. Talk about Joe Gacy versus Shawn Spears. What do you think?
As much as I want to pick Gacy, I feel like with what's happening with him and Shawn Spears returning, I wouldn't put Shawn to lose this, to be honest. I feel like Gacy could easily get that win and still continue on like nothing happened, so it won't affect him like that. Versus, I feel like Shawn has some kind of momentum towards him right now that I wouldn't want him to lose, at least anytime soon, to be honest. So I definitely see the Perfect 10 winning this.
I agree. The chairman of NXT, the Perfect 10, whatever you want to call him, Shawn Spears, while I don't think he necessarily needs to win, should win.
Mm-hmm.
Because unless they have an idea for what to do with Gacy going forward, I think Gacy can eat loss after loss after loss. Because like any horror movie villain, you can beat him in every movie and he can keep coming back. Look at Scream. They've made what, 6 of these pieces of art?
Careful there.
Art?
Careful there with the wording, sir.
Garbage,
Careful.
art, whichever one you want to call it.
No.
They've made
like
6 of them.
The secret is you go for the head because on that they always come back. So
Well, that's what Thanos told Thor, and he did that in the sequel. Be a while before we could talk about Endgame, but yeah. I mean, I think I agree. I think Spears wins this. I see no reason to put Joe Gacy over right now. I think it's more than fine. Plus, I also see, I'll be honest, selfishly, Femi versus Shawn Spears sounds like a hell of a fun match.
yeah, I like that idea.
I think there's a lot you can do with this match, so I'm all in favor of going ahead and watching Shawn Spears take the victory here. We move on to what I believe will be the opening match of the card. And of course, for those in the chat, go ahead and put your thoughts in the chat of what you think is going to happen. The Wolf Dogs defending their NXT Tag Team Championships against Nathan Frazer and Axion. This is going to be a fun match. I think this is the banger that you start the show with. You're ending with Carmelo and Trick. I tossed between whether or not I thought Trashy Toxic versus Thea's friends were going to open the show. You know, have a women's match open the show. I thought it might be interesting. But we know NXT. NXT likes to start hot. They like to start with something big. I don't think you have any bigger match that's going to get the crowd fired up than this match right here. Axiom and Nathan Frazer have a way of making this audience just ooh and ah like nobody's business. So I
Stop
think
watching Ring of Honor.
I'm actually trying to get the back loaded up on the other screen.
No, I wanted to call you out.
But no, I think that I'm torn here. Logic says the baby faces win this match. Logic says Nathan Frazer and Axiom are the smart choice. However, Wolf Dogs! I want the Wolf Dogs to win. So I'm picking the Wolf Dogs.
I was also torn about this one because I'm thinking Braun needs to go back to SmackDown. He hasn't done anything in SmackDown because he's been in NXT with Baron. But I love Braun and Baron together so much that I don't want them to lose the titles. I really don't. But at the same time, that team of Axiom and Nathan has been so great so far that I want them to win those tag titles and keep going with that. And I want to see what kind of run we have with both of them as a team. So that's why I'm really torn about it because I like both teams and I feel like they could go either route with it. But I'm leaning more towards Axiom and Nathan winning it because I'm thinking this is Braun's way of going to the main roster and continue what he's supposed to do there because he hasn't done anything since he's been teaming up with Baron. But I also wonder where is Baron's direction going if they do lose because obviously they'll be him by himself. Like, well, the Wolf Match just started and then now they're done. So it's like I feel like that part may be a little bit awkward at first. But I'm going for Axiom and Nathan on this one.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think the smart money's on Nathan and Axiom. Naxium, I'm going to call them from now on.
Nice.
The men whose entrance makes me think I'm on acid. I hate the Axiom entrance. It's so awful. I don't like it at all. But anyways, I think Baron. We were talking about the top baby faces on the brand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We forgot Baron. Baron is a baby face right now.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he's a heel. Like, he's a heel, but
He's a heel, but he's a baby face.
I think you can line Baron Corbin up against Tony D'Angelo. The crowd's going to cheer for Baron Corbin.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Mm-hmm.
So I think it would work. Like, it's not heel versus heel because I really think the crowd would be behind Baron a lot. So I think you could do that if Tony were to win the title.
I think we also didn't count on him because we're thinking of him being in a tag team with Braun. So it's like we kind of like in a way kind of disqualified him because of that. So, but
I originally had disqualified him
because
he's a heel. I was going to say I really disqualified him because he was a heel. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, he's kind of a babyface. By the way, thank you when we're talking about baby faces. Thank you, our man Javi Bernal, Big Body Javi, for going ahead and reposting that. And remember, everybody in the comments, remember, we want Javi. Andre C, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Too bad Javier Bernal's not on here. But we move on to what I think will be the next match. And I think, after every big match, there needs to be a match that, crowd gets to take a little bit of a break. When we talk about a little bit of a break, it's Trashy Toxic versus Thea Friends. What do you think?
This was another one that I was kind of torn about because you're also wanting Thea to get that revenge on Jacy. But I feel like after them winning and the way the kind of like that Mean Girls type of stable is going on, I wouldn't have them lose. I don't want to say easily, but like really quick when they team up for the first time. And they can also say it's like that we all have kind of like they're the Mean Girls, so that they obviously have that common goal of being the Mean Girls above everything. Versus like with Thea, they can say, "Oh, we're friends," but we haven't really seen them on screen as friends. So I feel like we could easily have Toxic 2.0 winning this, but it's another one that I'm kind of torn about. They could go either way with it, but I'm sticking with Toxic 2.0.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on the same page. I think Toxic 2.0 is the obvious winner here. I don't think there's any real... I don't think Thea's babyface team gains anything out of winning this match. The feud needs to keep going. It's not over because the end of this feud is the singles match. Mm-hmm. So I think this match is the numbers game. Jasmine pulls off the fake cast that she surely doesn't need to go ahead and win this match. But it's just I'm not invested in this. I'll be honest.
I know.
Thea's involved. I'm really not invested in this. But like I said, I'm gonna take Trashy Toxic because I think Trashy Toxic 2.0 is. Am I not supposed to call them? Should
Just say
there be a
Toxic
different name?
2.0. Yeah, Toxic 2.0.
But they're trashy.
No.
Trashy Toxic. They're not good enough to earn the name Toxic 2.0. They have to have an adjective before them because they're not good. There's no forever champion in this group. There's no Mandy Rose.
Not yet, at least.
No, none of them are Mandy Rose. I'm telling you, I'm looking at a picture. I see the blonde girl that I always confuse for Carmen Petrovic. I see Kiana James and Jacy Jayne. There's no Mandy Rose in those three.
We don't want a Mandy Rose. We want a Jacy Jayne. We want a Kiana James, and we want an Izzy Dame.
Or
it's
Carmen
okay.
Petrovic, whichever one it is. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure.
All blondes look the same.
No, not all blondes look the same, but those two do.
No, Izzy just wears green and goes like this. So
She does wear green. That is a fact. I do know that. Let's just hope Kelani doesn't continue taking styling tips from Carmelo Hayes and come to Stand and Deliver looking like this.
oh my god.
Oh, this is a nice picture of the two of them. I thought this was great. And if you haven't
And
seen the Twitter
Justin.
I don't know who Justin is, but there's Justin.
The wrestling classic.
Oh, is that who that is? I have no idea. I didn't know. I saw the picture and I was like, oh, it's a picture of Carmelo Hayes.
Oh my god. Yes, that is Justin. So
if you haven't seen the Twitter stuff from the wrestlemania stuff, which is where that photo came from, it comes from the wrestlemania show. You need to go ahead and check it out. There's a nice little thing with Wale, Trick, and Carmelo. You can see Lash trying to hide. She's way too big to hide, which is funny.
She's hiding behind Carmelo, ironically.
I was gonna say, did you find that as strange as I did that she's hiding behind Carmelo?
Yes.
I'm like, what is she gonna do? Jump him? I thought she was gonna jump him or something.
Nope.
The next match on the card, I think we go to big meaty men slapping meat. The Big E Invitational. Femi versus Josh Briggs versus Dijak. Ratio this show, Dijak. Ratio this. But no, this is going to be fun. This is going to be three big dudes just chucking each other around, kicking each other in the face, knocking each other down. There's going to be a whole lot of fun in this match. I'm very excited. Femi's first big stage. This is his first real big opportunity at a big stage. I want to see what happens. He's never wrestled outside of the Florida Loop and the PC. And now he's going to be in front of an arena of 13,000 people. I want to see what that does to him.
Yeah.
Briggs and Dijak, this is things they've done before. Like they've wrestled in front of big crowds. Maybe obviously not this big for Briggs. Dijak's been here, done that, wrote the book, ratioed the tweet, everything. And while I'd love to say Dijak wins this match because God, Dijak needs a championship, I love Dijak to death. I think Dijak would look fantastic with the North American Championship. I think it'd be great for Josh Briggs' story to give him the North American Championship. But I'm an Oba feminist. Femi wins.
Yeah, just like you said, I keep thinking it's like they all would look great with the championship, and it would be nice to see it in a different direction as well, to see how be Dijak as champion, how be Briggs as champion, but I can't go against Oba. Like, he has such a run at the moment, and then be able to be like, I beat two bigger guys like this in this grand stage is something that he can say in his next promo, and nobody would take that away from him either. So I definitely don't see him losing this. I feel like if it was somebody else, this would have been a good way for the champion to lose the championship without getting pinned. But with Oba, I can't see that happening. It's like it's one of those things like I cannot go against him and like root against him in that instance. Yeah, it's definitely Oba for sure on this one too.
But Byron Monkey jumps in, saying first, hello. I mean, he said it second. So. And he also says, I think WWE aren't sure about Oba yet. That's why it's a triple threat to cover any issue. I agree. Honestly, I agree with you. I think WWE likes Oba Femi. They've liked everything they've seen. And if they switch the title here, that doesn't prove that they're not behind Oba Femi. They put the breakout tournament contract on this man right away. They put him into the North American Championship picture and had him win that title off of Dragon Lee very quickly after getting that. He had it, 2 weeks? I think it was less than 2 weeks that this man had that championship, that contract, and then he cashed in for the North American title. But everything they've seen is good. Mm-hmm. And I agree. I think Barry's not necessarily wrong that they're not quite sure about what they have. And you can put the title on Dijak and you can put the title on Josh and not have Oba Femi look weak. Because you could have Dijak pin Josh. And you can go ahead and give Dijak a short run with this championship to see what Oba Femi will do when he has to come back, lose, and come back to the top. That's a viable way to do this.
No.
I just think that right now they're smitten with Oba Femi. They like what they see. And he is the Nigerian Thanos. And he is going to snap his finger, and Josh Briggs and Dijak are going to be defeated.
Pretty much. I'm telling you, there's no going against it. If it was somebody else, I would have been like, yeah, sure. It's going to be, Josh and Dijak, and then he loses, and then he doesn't get hurt in that instance. But it's hard to see that happening with Oba being involved in here.
It's just, maybe I like him too much to see the forest through the trees, Maybe. And by the way, these are some big ass fucking trees. Look at these dudes. Oba Femi is so fucking big. He's literally almost half of the other two dudes in the middle of this picture. He's a big dude. We move on to the next match. I have it listed here, as Astrid can see, as Lyra versus the Joker. Oh, Roxanne versus Lyra for the Women's Championship. Astrid, your thoughts?
I'm so torn about this one because on one aspect I could see Lyra retaining it, finding a new contender for her. We have a lot of heels in NXT, so that's no problem. But at the same time, I would like me fantasy booking this. I would like Roxanne to win it and to have Julia come out. That would be amazing. And having them face off and have that be one of the last things we see. And just there's nothing else to it until we get to NXT. That's me just fantasy booking this because I really want to see Julia confront Roxanne after winning the championship. So I'm so torn about this one. Really, I don't want to go against Roxanne, but the way it's been with Lyra, it feels hard to see her losing the championship now. So I don't know. I'm really stuck on that right now. But
I'm not.
I know you're not. Don't worry about it. I know you're not. Okay. I'll definitely say Roxy then. Roxy, and then we get the Julia confrontation. So I'll stick to that.
For those that don't know, Julia is former Stardom. She was the New Japan Strong Women's Champion. She won that title from Willow, who won it in the debut of the title, where it was supposed to go to Mercedes, but Mercedes got hurt, so they gave it to Willow. Mm-hmm. She is a former one of the top stars in Stardom. She is backstage supposedly tonight with Rossi Agawa, who used to run Stardom, who is now apparently starting his own company, which reportedly may have WWE funding, as it looks like WWE is going to be a partner in this deal, which would be fantastic for talent exchanges. Mm-hmm. Sending some of these WWE girls to go get a lesson on how to work in Stardom, in a Stardom adjacent program, could be fantastic. I say all this because I don't have to fill much time. Lyra's winning this. Please, God, Lyra needs to win this.
Plus, Julia has been spotted at WWE World over the weekend as well, so that's another
She
thing too.
was. But I mean, everybody's been spotted at WWE World. I mean, Kaylee Kaluko was spotted at WWE World. Doesn't mean she's
Yeah, but
debuting.
she's not a wrestler though. So it's like a wrestler who's a free agent technically right now. So that's not the same.
Barry Monkey says, so fingers crossed, Lyra wins. I like Roxanne as a wrestler, but I don't want to have to listen to her as champion doing awful promos. I agree. Sorry, Dalton Castle is throwing fake boys around at Johnny Mundo. Johnny TV.
Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Bloodsport the other day, taking on Josh Barnett at Bloodsport. By the way, if you haven't seen it, please check out Bloodsport. It was fantastic. If you want an NXT connection, Charlie Dempsey showed up at Bloodsport unannounced. Was there an announcement for that one? Because I don't remember hearing that he was going there last minute.
No, it was only Shayna. Any WWE person was Shayna that I remember was the only one I had seen. So
yeah, I knew that Josh had said that there was going to be a change in the card because somebody was unavailable, and then it ended up being. I thought it
was they were supposed to go against Savage Gentleman Victor.
Yeah, and then they swapped it around, so they put Akira, who was supposed to take on the guy that Manny something that Charlie took on. They moved Akira from that match to Savage Gentleman, which, by the way, was a fantastic thing. If you haven't seen Bloodsport, please go check it out. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It was my first Bloodsport. I'm hooked. I need to see more of this. Speaking of Bloodsport, somebody who probably would do very well in Bloodsport, Ilja Dragunov, the NXT champion, versus Tony D'Angelo. All right, Ilja's winning this, right? Like, I'm thinking about it. I'm looking at it. I think Ilja wins this. I don't see any reason why he should lose.
Yeah, me neither. But I keep thinking it's WrestleMania week, and they could start and give us a surprise somehow. We're like, what? What is happening? But yeah, it's hard to see Ilja losing this, especially when it comes to Tony. I feel like and it's not to compare with Carmelo and Trick, because obviously they had a longer build, but this had a shorter build, and I feel like it hasn't built off enough the way other matches have been. So it doesn't feel as important as it usually is. So I'm more sticking with Ilja on this one.
I love this from Barry. Bloodsport was fun, only ruined by some idiot forgetting the ropes. For those that don't know what Bloodsport is essentially NXT Underground.
That's true.
Those copycats who've been doing this for 10 years now copied NXT Underground. No. Raw Underground was a copy of Bloodsport. But no, like I said, it's this is almost all about the fact that we went through it. There's Trick Williams, Javier Bernal, and maybe Baron Corbin. And that's it. For challengers for Tony D'Angelo as champion. Like, there's not a huge list of challengers there. So, I mean, I think it's got to be Ilja, but who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to the main event. Sorry for this being a short show, folks. Neither one of us want to take too much time with this. Plus, there's not a lot to talk about before it happens. We've talked about the build for weeks. We know what to expect.
There's only 6 matches.
There are 6 main card matches and 1 kickoff match. And the only one that really matters out of any of them is Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes.
The main event. And we're going to put that in all in caps. The main event, because it deserves to be, and I'm glad it is too.
We are going to hear that in front of 13,000 fans. Yay. As he goes to his second premium live event main event. But this isn't just a premium main event for Trick Williams. This is something special. These two have gone out and told a story. With the help of Shawn Michaels and using Shawn Michaels' old storylines to aid in telling of a great story. Because there's nothing wrong with redoing the classics. When things work, you can redo them. And the best friend attacking the guy from behind and constantly saying that he didn't do it, to the point where only Victor from the wrestling club ever believed Carmelo Hayes. And we all told them it wasn't happening and that Carmelo Hayes had done this. But this story was told fantastically. And while I wish the title was on the line, because I think that would give it a little bit more sizzle, just a little bit more sizzle, I am sadly not torn with who I think is winning this match. I love Carmelo.
Wait, did we do it on 3?
We can.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Trick Williams.
Trick!
I love Carmelo Hayes. There's no reason on God's green earth why he should win this match.
It's like, sayonara, Carmelo. See you in the main roster in a little bit after Mania.
If you haven't already, Brian Waters did a fantastic 2-minute interview with Carmelo Hayes. It was great. They talk a little bit of basketball. They talk about Carmelo Hayes. And the reason why I bring that up is because they talked about one thing that I wanted to elaborate on in here. Carmelo Hayes being the utility player. And it's a sports reference that typically talks about a guy who can do it all. He's not normally the star, but he can do it all. And this is what Carmelo Hayes is, except that he's a star who can be a utility player. And he referenced Shawn Michaels as being that utility player that he looked up to. When they didn't know what to do, give it to Shawn. Let Shawn do it. Shawn can take care of it. Because in his hands, everything will be okay. No matter what it is, he'll get the job done. That's what we have here with Carmelo. Carmelo is going to make sure that Trick Williams has the best match of his life. Carmelo Hayes is going to give every ounce for his buddy Trick Williams here. But if Trick Williams doesn't win this match, it is a goddamn fucking shame.
Do we get the "I'm sorry, I love you" before the finisher happens at the end? That's what I feel like it's missing.
Maybe. If Trick's winning, yeah, maybe. He does the I'm sorry, I love you, and then goes ahead and throws the knee. Yeah, that might happen. I
would love to see it.
I haven't thought of it, but I love it.
I just thought about it. It's like just thinking of like not just in the storyline, but thinking of like their bond in real life and how they have obviously grown together, to think about it this way. And this is, if you think about it, also Carmelo's last match in NXT, and Trick being the one that defeats him on his way out. I'll be like, I'm sorry, I love you, and then do your finisher, and the match is done. And I was like, shh, I would love that. I really would. It's like, I feel like it would be a good way to end it, because we know it's not because of the storyline, but because of the friendship that they built up on this, and it's the foundation of the story as well. And just thinking of everything, they was like, that would wrap it up with a pretty little bow for me if that happens. And then the finish, and just like, and then having the theme song come up right away and the crowd singing it, like that in that sequence, like that, chef's kiss. I would like to see it.
And you know what? Barry Monkey says another thing I agree with. I really do hope we get some sort of main roster amnesia. And I don't even think you need to do a main roster amnesia. I think you can let Melo go up to the main roster now, and in a year from now, he needs backup for something. Something happens where he needs a buddy, and he calls Trick. And Trick comes in to be his buddy. Because you can say, you know, we took our time, we talked it out, we got over our issues. Hell, you can even redo some of this with Trick turning on Melo. Like, there's no reason we can't redo this in 2 years down the line. I'm not saying he has to attack him from behind, but all of a sudden Melo's, you know, in the middle of a match or in a tag team title match, and Trick just drops Carmelo Hayes. Like, we don't necessarily even need the amnesia. I think you can really talk about a way to make the two of them work back together and just bring back the Trick Melo gang.
Yeah, I think they could easily just say we should let the bygones be bygones in that aspect, and just say, look how we started, look where we at, look what we did together, the magic we created. We can keep doing that as a team here. We've done it before. And I feel like at that point, Trick would have had more experience under his belt, and he would look even better than he did at that one appearance on SmackDown. And just like, I would do it in at least a year, because if you notice, just the reaction that he got from the crowd on SmackDown, and that was just a run-in. It wasn't even a match or anything like that. He wasn't there for long. So can you even imagine when he debuts on SmackDown or something like that right after helping Carmelo? Like, that would be such a huge reaction for him. And I feel like right now people know him. He's hot. Just like, just keep that going. Just make it maybe a year, maybe. So give it some time. And like you said, just think of like, yeah, we had a conversation. This happened. It's like, look, I had your back before and I can do it again. So I'm gonna do it again, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. Trick's getting a championship run soon.
Mm-hmm.
Sooner rather than later, this man is going to be holding NXT Gold. I think he wins it at the next PLE. I think you run back without the injury, without the turning, without the best friend there, the jealous best friend, and you run back Trick Williams versus Ilja Dragunov again.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's where Trick wins. And then Ilja goes up to the main roster, and Ilja shows up as somebody who gets drafted to the main roster and takes Gunther's Intercontinental Championship. I think that's a perfect to tie both of these matches together with a nice little bow. Mm-hmm. Melo goes up now. Trick takes Ilja's title. Ilja takes Gunther's title. And that puts Gunther in the main event scene with the World Heavyweight Championship on Raw. Mm-hmm. And then that puts... Or on SmackDown with Cody. Because I think, sooner rather than later, Gunther's going to be headlining that show in Bash in Berlin as champion. I don't know what brand it's going to be on, but he's going to be the champion heading into Bash in Berlin. Or he's winning it there. One of the two.
Yeah.
And so that means we got to get the Intercontinental title off of him. And there's only two people that can win that Intercontinental Championship from Gunther. One of them is Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. The other is Ilja Dragunov.
No.
Those are the only two people who should be winning that Intercontinental Championship. Sorry, Sammy. You need to lose.
Plus, I think also, as to Barry's comment, with Triple H, we barely get of that main roster amnesia nowadays. It's not like when Vince was running it. So you see it happening less and less. So I feel like it's something that'll be awkward if it does happen as well. I feel like you said, we can have that moment of like, hey, we had a conversation and then this is where we're at. You know, we attacked before and we did great as a team. So might as well, have that moment to do it again. So I wouldn't mind them teaming up sometime in the future there. Just like it's something we kind of thought about happening maybe with Cora and Roxanne too. It's like, I wouldn't mind that happening with them as heels later on. But just a matter of like, you need to do it in a certain way and make it look like it's like an idiot did it or made it happen. So let's see how that happens later.
And let's not see that it's a strange thing that former friends come back together and tag. Like, that's a story as old as time in professional wrestling. Mm-hmm. We get through each other. Look at DIY. DIY had one of the greatest feuds in NXT history, and they're tagging again. And it's not. They didn't even do main. They did, and then they didn't. Like, they went back. They went back to doing their own thing. Johnny came back and did the stuff with the Way. Tommaso did his stuff with the Miz, which was weird, but he did it. But now they're back to tag teaming together, and it feels right, it looks right, and it doesn't feel like there's anything wrong with them teaming again after what they went through in NXT.
Yep, exactly.
Make sure you join us for the post show, because we're going to have special guests. Mark Robson, Mark Talks Wrestling, is going to be joining us, as well as from the Monday Night Besties and writer for Wrestle Talk, we've got Amanda Savage joining us. It's going to be a great time. Remember, we're going to be here all WrestleMania weekend for you. Tomorrow morning, before NXT starts, you can go ahead and get a watch-along from Andre and Melball and Bobby Munson as they watch the Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show that happened today. They're going to be doing a watch-along for it tomorrow. Remember, We're going to have night one previews for WrestleMania with me, Astrid, and our special guest, Andre C., as he holds up the WrestleMania sign with that big, strong boy energy that he is of his from working with Rich King over at RK Athletics. And if you don't, please go follow Rich King. He does some amazing work. I know he doesn't sponsor us here, but he sponsored us for a long time at our old home. And Rich King is good people, so go ahead and support Rich King when you can. He's doing fantastic work with Andre, and if you're in the Edmonton area, he can do fantastic work for you. Post show for WrestleMania Night 1. Me and Astrid back at it one more time. Lots of me and Astrid this weekend on Saturday, but we're going to have our special friend from Get the Tables, Tony. Tony from Get the Tables is going to be joining us after his watch-along. This show will start with just me and Astrid, but Tony will be joining us once his watch-along is over, but he does run a watch-along, so he won't be able to join us right away. But we will have him in to join us as soon as he's available, so make sure to do that. Mm-hmm. On Sunday, we've got the night one preview show, night two preview show even, and it's going to be a point of view with Bobby Money Munson, myself, Mark Talks Wrestling, and the great Tom Colliehue joins us. 4 men talking wrestling. Nobody else in the world can put 4 white men on the screen to talk about wrestling. Nobody else in the world can put 4 white men on a screen to talk about wrestling.
This is UK, US, and Canada represented. Yes.
We did at least diversify a little bit here. Different versions of white men. We can, of course, remember, we're watching the main event right now, Karashida versus Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. Make sure that if you want to talk about Honor Ramble, the Supercard of Honor, follow Honor Ramble. They're on every Thursday night, but especially they're going to do a special episode sometime Sunday in between Auntie getting married and all this weekend. And you can go ahead and join her and Kyle K. Sparks as they talk all things Ring of Honor on Honor Ramble. And then to follow the night, after everything's said and done, Stephanie Hardy from the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and once again, Mark Talks Wrestling, joins me and Bobby Money Munson as we go ahead and review Night 2 and the entirety of WrestleMania weekend. We're going to go ahead and talk about everything that's happened, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. If it's happening this weekend and it's WWE or ROH related, we've got you covered. Predictions, previews, post shows, whatever you need, we got it. So make sure to keep checking out our local establishment all weekend long, and check out our fun people who are going ahead and doing watch-alongs, whether it be the great Tom Colliehue, whether it be Tony from Get the Tables. If Mike the Ref is doing something, watch Mike the Ref. He does fantastic work. If you're wanting a watch-along, those are the places to go ahead and get watch-alongs, because those 3 people do fantastic work when it comes to watch-alongs. About time white men get a voice. We've been silent too long. I'm just Ken. Astrid, where can the good people find you on the internet this week?
Not with the rest of the white band that Ray is talking about. And bring the females in here. That's why we got Stephanie. See? Somebody different.
And Amanda.
Yes. But no, I mean, you said everything. You can find me tomorrow doing the NXT post show, night one preview, night one post show, because I don't remember all the times because it's going to vary. But after that, I'll be gone for the weekend to enjoy my Mania weekend with my family, which we're going to continue our family tradition of all watching it together, starting tonight with the Hall of Fame. So aside from that, it is there, Twitter and Blue Skies, Astrid Pizarro, Threads and Instagram, Astrid Pizarro 20. And then everything else that I have going on, we're definitely going to see it on my YouTube channel the next day as well. So Mania content this weekend it's our Super Bowl weekend.
I also want to shout out some good friends of ours who are working media and other things for WrestleMania weekend who do great work. Shay Sawyer _ on Twitter. They do a podcast called The Big Pop. Check them out. They do fantastic stuff when it comes to WWE, and Shay Sawyer has takes on everything and anything on Twitter. She is a delight to follow. Please go ahead and do that. If you want some scoops, you can always go ahead and check out bodyslam.net. all kinds of different wonderful places you can check out Body Slam, including when Astrid has them. Astrid Asks episodes will be up there. But you can also follow us on Cassidy, who runs Body Slam at Castle Hool, so you can always make sure to go ahead and get your information. If you want somebody who's live on the scene for WrestleMania this year, PW Mania's own Jose on the Air is live at his first WrestleMania for media. So definitely go ahead and check him out. He does all kinds of different shows. He's getting back in the swing of things as far as content creation is concerned. But check out his Twitter at Jose on the Air or anything on PW Mania. And of course, one of the people who has given me and Astrid a lot of help throughout the years, Ella J. It's Ella J. She does fantastic work on everything. Go ahead and follow her at A Wrestling Gal. Just go to her X, go to her Twitter, and you'll be able to find all the things that she does because she does fantastic work. And she is one of the good ones in media, and you need to support those because there's so many crappy ones in media. It's nice to support the good ones. If you want to support somebody, you can support me too, I guess. You can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. I do my gaming content. I do simulcasts of most of all of our local establishment shows that I'm on. However, this weekend we are doing strictly our local establishment. YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can go ahead and find us on any of those platforms for all of the shows that we listed. We're going to go ahead and, as we leave, we're not going to play our theme song. We're going to go ahead and play the calendar one more time. Thank you all for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys tomorrow after NXT Stand and Deliver. Goodbye.
Hurricane, a tidal wave. It seems perfect, life looks brilliant. Give